things cleaned off that he can't get to. The oxpeckers are benefiting because they're getting a very specific type of food, a very specific niche. And one of those two species, the oxpecker in this case, is reliant on that relationship. The relationship between oxpeckers and large mammals is essential to the survival of the oxpeckers. And that's the definition of a mutualistic relationship. Two species both benefiting, one of those species dependent on that relationship for survival. Speaking about survival, I hope this bull's alright. He's in good condition. I would guess maybe has been fighting a little bit. He's at that size and age where he will be competing with other males. And in that process, he's hurt his one leg. You could really see him. In fact, I can see the swelling as well. If you look very carefully, that's his right leg, obviously. That left leg, there where my finger's pointing now, you can see that. Well, we call it the knee. Technically it's the wrist. But for sake of colloquial explanation, his knee is swollen. So something in there, the ligaments or something is sore, stiff. Something he might recover from quite quickly in a day or two, 3. I would say in his benefit at the moment, the biggest threat for him, the only threat for a big giraffe like this would be lions and groups of lions like the Birmingham males or the Magnoleti males that we had back there. But luckily for him, they've got 2 buffalo to eat. So I don't think he's got to worry about that too much, but you never know. I don't think I'm going to... let's have a last look at him. I don't want to push him too much. He doesn't walk easily at the moment. But let's just see. What is he eating there? Looks like some sweet thorn leaves. One of your acacias. Just stripping the leaves off the tip of the branches. Love the questions this morning. It's so lovely to have a conversation. So if there are any more questions or just comments as well, if you just want to mention something, keep in mind you can do so one of 2 ways. Hashtag Safari Live if you want to tweet, or mail it to questions@wildearth.tv, and we can have a chat in the vehicle. Amazing, the necks on these animals. Such a bizarre design. I mean, you can see how it makes sense. These guys have got a part of the bush that they can feed on that nothing really competes with them. So they've got a very special niche due to their sort of design. Heather, having a question all the way out of Alaska. I've not been one of the places I really want to go one day. I would love to go explore one of the last great wildernesses of the world that remains in Alaska. And Heather is from Sterling, Alaska, where I'm sure it must be very cold at the moment. You guys are almost right in winter, or you are right in winter. Christmas is around the corner. And Heather was just asking... Sorry, Heather, this is hilarious. It just slipped my mind. Oh, the torchwood tree. There we go. So I was looking at the giraffe so intently. The tree that we just looked at back there, and yes, firstly, it is a beautiful tree. I'm sure, Heather, everyone will agree with you on that as well. But how old it is, it's very difficult to say. Torchwood, the wood itself, it's called a torchwood. The wood actually burns relatively easy. It's quite a soft, porous wood once it's dried out. But it's got these seeds about the size of like your thumb almost. Or not seeds, maybe it's almost like a fruit. Looks almost like a date, like a big date, and a very high oil in the seeds. If you take the pip and you crush it and get the oil out of it, it's got a very good oil that was used for torches. Hence the name torchwood. How old that tree is? It's not like your leadwoods. Other parts of Africa, you get the mupanis. You're really extremely hard woods. You get trees that grow very old, 1,000 years plus. That torchwood, I would be guessing. But if I was guessing, which I am, I would say probably that one would be 150, 200 years old. Yeah, not less. I don't think less than 100 years. It's growing in a good area. It's got good sand and water there. But it is a big tree and it doesn't grow like that overnight. So I would go with 100 to 200 years, somewhere in that region. I don't think much older. I also don't think torchwoods will necessarily get to be 5, 6, 7, 800 years old, just because the wood is not that hard. But who's to say? I've never read specifically about those trees in terms of how long they live. I know your leadwoods get up to 1,000, 1,500 years old, and then they can stand another 1,000 as dead wood afterwards because the wood is so hard. Nothing can eat it, nothing can break it. It literally has to be worn down by the elements. Right, Mr. Giraffe, hope your leg gets better.